let's move on, because an amazing story has emerged over the last couple of days about the greatest punter ever from Kerry, we think, because he's the first punter ever from Kerry. David Shanahan, good morning to you. How you doing?
Not too bad. How's the form?
Yeah, great. Not as good as your form, I suspect, in the last 48 hours or so, as it has emerged that you're going to be the new punter for Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Pretty crazy few 48 hours. Yeah.
When did you actually get the phone call to say this is happening?
So I suppose my coach in Australia, he kind of called me a few weeks ago saying that he thought they were probably going to offer, but obviously I didn't really want to hold my breath. I didn't want to get too excited, but I had a Zoom call then with 4 of the Georgia Tech coaches on Tuesday, and they offered then and made it official. It's pretty ecstatic. Yeah.
In the middle of lockdown, I'm looking at some classic movies, and Boys in the Hood was on, so we were sitting there watching it, and there is like a home visit where, you know, it's fairly stereotypical. The parents have a lot of questions about what the education is going to be like. Did all that happen? Like, I mean, obviously it can't happen in person, but...
I mean... Sure, like obviously Georgia Tech coaches told me they were gonna have a Zoom call with me, like a FaceTime. And sure, my mother spent a week cleaning the house, even though they're only going to see this bit live. But like that, my parents haven't met him yet. Probably keep it that way for a while. But yeah, they trusted my judgment, I suppose.
And what course are you going to do? Like, so this is a full education scholarship.
Yeah. So I think I'd probably study finance or business, something business oriented like that. Yeah. Because obviously I don't really want to. It's a big engineering school, I think, but I don't really want to be balancing like a kind of heavy engineering degree with football and stuff. So I think the coaches push a lot of the players to do business degrees and stuff. So probably do that.
When did you realise this was a viable opportunity for you, or something that you wanted to pursue? Actual being a punter on an American football field?
I suppose I always really wanted to play American football. Like, if it was up to me, I'd probably play a cooler position, like wide receiver or something. But I suppose if I was going to get in, the only way I was going to get in was to be a punter. So I suppose I started kicking a few years ago. Like, I was only kind of half dreaming away, like, and then I kind of took it seriously. Then when I was about 16, probably 17, I kind of started like actually kind of like learning the technique and stuff, and kind of hitting the gym, stuff like that. And I suppose, but like obviously I had nothing to compare myself to because I didn't know if I was any good. Like, but then when John Smith, who's the coach at Pro Kick Australia, he flew over for an assessment. That was probably the time I realised that I could actually do it. Like, I suppose I got the gratification of knowing that I was half decent at it. Like,
you've blah away a bit of the story there, but so Pro Kick Australia are this company in Australia who've been training punters.
Yeah.
And anybody who's kind of paid any attention over the last couple of years will see that punters have started to be drafted much earlier than they have been in the past. The 49ers took one in the 4th round, the Seahawks taking someone in the 5th round the previous year, and they've been doing really, really good business and making brilliant careers for themselves quite late on, like 27, 26. How did you get in touch with Pro Kick Australia? What was the impetus for that?
Like, I suppose I saw all the Australian lads were getting scholarships, college football. So it was just when I looked into it more, I realised they were all coming from Pro Kick, like they were all coming from the same place. So kind of Pro Kick pretty much run the game now for scholarships for kickers and punters in college football. Like, they're the big dogs really now. Like, they're getting a lot more scholarships than Americans do. So like, if I was going to do it, they were the guys to do it. Like, they were kind of the best in the business.
And they're based in Australia?
Yeah, they're based in Melbourne. So it's run by these two guys, John Smith and Nathan Chapman. And Nathan Chapman actually played in the AFL for 10 years, and he also played with the Green Bay Packers. And John Smith kicked for the Patriots for a bit as well, and the Browns, I think. Yeah.
Did you just send them an email and say, how are you? I'm a footballer, I've been practicing a bit. What do you think?
Yeah, literally. So I put together, I just filmed like a 1-minute video of me kicking. And I sent it to them like last June. And like, fortuitously enough, John Smith, he's actually from Manchester, so he was back home for a few weeks when I sent him the message, and he was like, "Oh, what a coincidence! I'll fly to Dublin and we'll do an assessment." So I was like, "Oh, geez, I was a bit nervous, like." And so then I drove up to Dublin with my mom, and I had a kick in just some random field near the airport in Dublin, and I kicked a few balls for him, I suppose, and he said he said look, like if you move to Melbourne and train for like 6 to 12 months, you probably get a scholarship. So it was happy days.
That's pretty class. Like, so what's the timeline of this? Are you playing with the Kerry under-17s at this point? Is this a little bit after?
No, I was just playing with my club at this point. It's a little bit after the Kerry under-17s. I was just kind of playing. I was playing a bit of rugby with my club in my local team, and I was playing Gaelic football, just playing county league, like just having the crack really. And yeah, that's about all I was doing, to be honest. And so I met him in July, and then I moved to Melbourne in August.
Right. Were you that quick?
That's
yeah, it's pretty quick. My mother was a bit shell-shocked, I suppose.
There's a lot of there's so many different questions I have here. Just one thing very quickly before we go back to Australia. When you say you were playing rugby, were you playing as an out half? Because what they always say is like Ronan O'Gara might have made it as a punter in the NFL.
No, man, I actually didn't even take the kicks. That's all politics in a small town anyways, like, but I was playing fullback.
It's so this is not like, I don't know. There's some part of this is almost like a reality TV show where everything is just happening very, very quickly here, and things kind of seem a little bit surreal. It must have seemed surreal being the guy actually in the middle of the story.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. Like I didn't really let myself think about it, because I knew if I overthought it, I probably wouldn't have gone to Melbourne. But I just kind of said, threw caution to the wind and just did it, I suppose.
What was Melbourne like? So you're 17 when you're in Melbourne, are you?
18.
18, okay.
Yeah.
So you're grown up with all of the distractions that come from being a grown up and like a full-time athlete, but not professional at this stage yet.
No, Melbourne's unreal. I loved Melbourne. It's class. Like, so I was in a house with 5 other lads doing pro kick, and they're all Australian. Like, they'd all moved from different parts of Australia. Like, Australia's a huge country, like, so they were all a long way from home as well. Like, a few from Sydney, a few from Perth, a few from like Canberra, stuff like that. And they were all really sound. Like, we got on really well. I think Australian sense of humour is pretty similar to Irish sense of humour. Like, they have the crack a lot. Like, yeah, Melbourne's class. Like, it's a huge city, and there's obviously a really big Irish contingent there as well. So yeah, had a good time in Melbourne. And
do you have to pay pro kick? Do you have to pay for your own food and board, or do they kind of take the punt that you're going to make it eventually and they'll represent you the whole way through?
No, so you pay them. You pay, like, they sort you out with like accommodation, and they've got their own kind of house and stuff, and they give you the gear and the equipment and the balls and stuff. But you have to pay them. You have to pay them for, like, there's an academic side to it as well. So like they've got to take care of all that, make sure like that all works, and then you obviously pay them to coach you as well. But like, it's not that expensive. The whole thing is probably about $7,000. It's an investment, really, like.
Totally. So now you're full board, and is your scholarship full board the whole way through for 4 years?
Yeah, full scholarship. Yeah, won't have to pay for anything off that.
Not a bad investment, it turns out.
No, pretty good ROI there. Yeah.
And come here. Obviously, you're a decent punter. Like, when did you get good at punting? Like, the first day you go down, you're kind of this lunatic kicking American footballs on your own.
Yeah, like, I wasn't great at the start, to be honest. Like, 'cause I didn't really know what I was doing. Like, it's kind of like if you take a mad swing at a golf ball, it's not really going to go anywhere. So I was just kind of doing that with the American football. Like, I didn't really have any emphasis on technique, and so at the start I thought I wasn't really very good. But then once I started paying attention to my technique and just kind of looking up YouTube videos on how to do it, and watching like NFL guys do it, I suppose it just got a lot better. Like, I used to film myself doing it, like break it down in slow motion and stuff, just so I'd kind of have it down pat. Like,
that's so. What was it about you that you moved ahead of high school kids who had been coached how to punt all along? Why did they go for the kid from Ireland who learned how to punt from YouTube?
It was more based off Pro Kick's reputation.
Okay.
So if you get the seal of approval from Pro Kick, it's pretty well trusted brand by a lot of college coaches in America now. So And that's obviously made by the guys that went before me. Obviously, you said the Seahawks took a pro kick guy and the 49ers took a pro kick guy in the NFL draft last year.
Right. Yeah, because that was a big shock when he went in the fourth round.
Yeah, Wisniewski, he went through pro kick, obviously. Went to University of Utah and played in the Super Bowl last year. And, yeah, he's got a massive kick. And there's a few NFL guys that trained while I was in pro kick as well. Like, it's really cool seeing them train, like, and how I suppose dedicated they are and stuff, and how sound their technique and everything is.
This is obviously only the start of the journey. You want to make it to the NFL, so there's no point in going to college and living the high life and not getting any better. How much better can you get? Like, what are the metrics?
So obviously, like, bases punting, basically just hang time and distance. Like, I still have a lot of work to do in my technique. Like, I'd say it's far from perfect. I have a lot of bad habits that I bring in from, like, Gaelic football and rugby, because I guess in Gaelic football you kick around, like you arch your leg, you bring it across your body a bit, and like in punting, you're just trying to keep a straight line as much as you can. But yeah, so we got a lot of that to do, and like obviously you can always get stronger legs. Like I do a lot of kind of like explosive work and stuff like that, squatting, deadlift, stuff like that.
Was there a time when you were kicking American footballs around the field in Kerry that people were going, that guy's a lunatic?
Oh man, so I used to go at like 6:30 in the morning because I was kind of embarrassed about it. I'm a bit of a freak in the sense that I only like training by myself. So I figured if I went at like 6:30, there'd be no one there anyways. But like I'd say like, so I used to cycle down from my house to the field in the morning. Like I saw the bread man every day. I say people wondered what I was doing, like, but yeah.
And you would just punt the ball from one end of the pitch to the other, like just with yourself with a bag of balls? Would anybody ever come down to give you a dig out, give you a hand, even just collect balls for you?
Yeah, every now and then, like, I'd get a friend or something to come down with me, or my brother or something. But I always kind of kept it quiet. I didn't really tell too many people I was doing it. The balls are actually really expensive. They're like €100. So I only ever had about 2 balls, and they pop because the balls are made for throwing, really. So they pop every probably 2 months or so. So I spent a lot of money on footballs, but yeah, I just kick the ball and then chase it and kick it back, pretty much.
Well, it's an incredible story, and it's going to have a next chapter is going to be sensational. Obviously, with everything that's going on, you don't get the opportunity to go over and hang out. Have you to go back to Melbourne before you go to Georgia?
So I'm supposed to go to Georgia in January, and I definitely want to go back to Melbourne for maybe like 2 or 3 months, hopefully, before it. But obviously, Australian borders are closed now, so I don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, I'd hope to go back to Melbourne anyway. Yeah.
Well, congratulations! It's an amazing story, and well done. We wish you all the best of luck, David. Thanks a million for taking the call.
Thanks very much. Cheers.